Hey everyone, it's Nicole Wilkins with FitnessRx for Women, and this is my next question and answer segment where I took your questions from Facebook and I'm going to answer them for you today. The first question I have is, hi Nicole, I suffered a knee injury, a dislocation, a couple years ago, and I'm looking to start squats again in the future. What exercises would you recommend to start working my way up to squats? Do you think someone with an old knee injury can ever do squats, or should I focus on alternative exercises? Thank you. Yes, I think that you can eventually do squats again. You may not be able to lift as heavy as you used to, or maybe you will, I don't know. Some things that you can start out doing right now are, free weight, like free body weight squats. So just put a ball against the wall, lean against the ball, move your feet forward and do ball squats so that you're focusing on your form and you're starting to gradually strengthen the quadricep muscle and the support around your knee. Leg press. So a lot of doctors don't recommend doing leg extensions, but I've had a couple knee surgeries and I have had no issues with leg extensions. So it comes down to listening to your body, making sure that you are doing all the precautionary things, making sure you're warming up good, making sure you're stretching well. If something doesn't feel right, then either check your form or maybe avoid the exercise until you build strength up a little bit more. Try doing step-ups and, things that are things that don't put a whole lot of strain on your knee but still can develop the muscle in your legs, and then eventually work up to adding more weight and see how you feel. I work out a lot, strength and cardio, and eat healthy, about 1,500 calories. I've been training forever, but I seem to be gaining fat and losing muscle. Is there a problem? Well, I don't know how tall you are. I don't know how much you weigh. I don't know what your workouts look like. I don't know how much cardio you're doing. I don't know a lot of things about you to say whether you're eating enough or not too much, or not enough or too much, or but what I would recommend is taking a look at your specific macros, meaning how many grams of protein you're eating, how many grams of fat you're eating, how many grams of carbs you're eating per day, because eating 1,500 calories doesn't mean anything. You could eat 1,500 calories of crap, and that would definitely make your physique look different than if you were to have, a higher protein, complex carbohydrates, good sources of healthy fats. So make sure you pay attention to how you're breaking up the amounts of foods that you're eating per day. And hopefully that will give you a little bit more of a direction. I'm entering my first figure competition in November, and I noticed that people pump up backstage before going out. I have noticed before I work my muscles I see definition, and after I start my lifting it goes away and just looks full and smooth. Should I pump before going on stage, or only certain muscles? So this is for figure, it really depends on the conditioning, meaning how much body fat you have, how much muscle you have as well. For myself, I don't really pump up a lot because I'm not trying to look any bigger. So if I pump up too much before I go out on stage, my shoulders almost look a little overpowering. So I tend to look a little better when I'm a little flatter, but my conditioning is good. So if someone doesn't have very strong shoulder caps, or they need a little bit more fullness in the upper body, a lot of people backstage will do lateral raises or shoulder presses or curls just to get a little bit more blood flow to the area that they're working, and it gives a little bit more fullness and the illusion that you're bigger than you really are. So that pump, the muscle pump. Now what a lot of people do is they start pumping up an hour before they go out on stage, which is a mistake because the pump is going to go away by the time you get out on stage. Or they lift so hard that they're smoked before they go out. So when you're pumping up, it isn't necessary, especially for figure. Bodybuilders do it, of course, because they want to look full and round, and but you want to pick a lightweight, do higher repetitions. You don't want to wear yourself out, and you want to do it about 15 to 20 minutes before you go out on stage, if not less than that. So usually like when you're lining up about to go out. And I wouldn't pump or do any legs because you don't want to have blood flow coming to your quads, because then it'll take away the definition. But just some shoulder stuff, some presses, some curls that can give you a little bit more fullness if you're looking for that. And the last question I have is, do you have any tips for dealing with plantar fasciitis and how not to let it derail your goals due to required resting time necessary for proper healing? Any tips on accelerating healing? So plantar fasciitis is usually when the muscles underneath the foot become so tight, or the hamstring or the Achilles is so tight that it causes heel pain. And a lot of runners experience this. Some things that you need to do are definitely make sure you're stretching your calves. So put the ball of your foot on a step and make sure that you're stretching your calf. Bend your knee and then let your heel drop again so that you're stretching the soleus and the gastrocnemius. Make sure that you could also take a golf ball or like a racquetball or something really small and hard and roll your foot on it, like the arch of your foot on it. You could get active release there techniques and do like deep tissue massage therapy on the bottom of your foot and also your calf, like all around that area. Make sure that you're using good shoes, because that can definitely make a huge difference. If your shoes are older than 6 months or you've been running more than 500 miles on them, it's time to get a new pair of shoes. And definitely don't skimp on the investment in that, because that can make or break your progress and prevent injuries from happening. So hopefully that kind of helps. Yeah, and unfortunately one of the best things to do is rest it, and that's really difficult to do. So those are my questions for this week. Until next week, keep asking your questions on the FitnessRx for Women Facebook page, and I'll be back here every Friday to answer them for you. Until then, keep living the fit life.